The Smite Update podcast is proudly sponsored by Tweaked Audio. Go to tweakedaudio.com for high-performance noise-reducing earbuds. Use the code OCTANEPRO to get 33% off plus free shipping anywhere in the world. Check out tweakedaudio.com today.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Smite Update. My name is Octane Pro, and joining me today, I do have my co-host Risty, and I do have our new host here. We do have F. How's it going, gentlemen?
Very good, very good. Pleasure to be here. Actually, we're on the big stage now, I'd say.
That's right. F. You got your mic unmuted. You good to go, bro?
Yeah, I'm always good to go. You already know. I'm doing well. I'm doing fantastic. Right up here on the old Smite game. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
That's right. That's right. So those of you guys unfamiliar with Smite, the Smite Update, this is the first time we've actually had it on Smite Game channel. And what this is a podcast every week that goes into community news, goes into esports news, and then we go ahead and just talk about the latest patch that came out the previous week, kind of our afterthoughts on it, some stuff that we felt was super important for you guys to look at, things that we've seen tested that hasn't worked or has worked and stuff like that. So pretty much before we go ahead and jump into the show here, we're going to go ahead and just kind of catch up. Risty, what have you been up to in Smite this past week?
I've just been doing ranked, working on some new guides at the minute, like just kind of like a beginner's guide for people that want to get into ranked, basically a ranked survival guide. So I'm just kind of piecing it all together now. That should be up in the next day or so, and then we can do all that. Yeah, just ranked.
Sweet. What about you, F. What have you been up to? I know you've been watching a lot of Smite. What else have you been doing?
Hell yeah, man! Just watching the weeklies. They're always very super exciting, and just doing that. As far as my own play, I do that slot in the morning, a little casual stuff, hanging out. But besides that, just focusing a lot on like the esports stuff, trying to hone my own skills as far as that's concerned, and in a different sort of arena than nailing my skill shots per se.
Definitely. I mean, I think F. and I had a chance. We were kind of talking about it briefly. I think it was yesterday. Just kind of about how much work goes into casting and how much practice goes into it. And it's not something that like Drybear or DM Brandon or Bart just go ahead and like just start doing naturally. It just comes to them. Like it takes a lot of practice, a lot of review and stuff like that. So I completely understand, man.
Oh yeah,
completely.
For
As for me, just doing as always lots of shows. We had the Smite Roundtable discussion on Thursday, which was a lot of fun. We had High-Res Bart, APC. We had our man F. here, and also Fats and Smitten on the show, and that was really, really cool. That was a really, really good time. Yeah, it was a quick 2 hours, don't you think, F.
Yeah, it was really quick. That's really Octane. I have a lot of fun with that stuff. I'm looking the wrong way. I had a lot of fun with that stuff, Octane. Like I enjoy that banter. I enjoy that back and forth that gives to us. So, yeah, it was really fast. And please invite me next time. I like to run my mouth.
Oh, we know you do, bro. That's why you catch. Come on now. We know you do. So anyways, those of you guys just jumping in, checking out what's going on in the Smite game. Once again, this is not a new show to the Smite community, but it's definitely a new show to Smite game. It has not been on Smite game before, but we're on episode 38. Risty and I have been doing this for quite a long time. I actually started Smite Update out with Drybear. When Drybear first got into Smite, like just as he started even streaming, him and I did the Smite Update podcast. And we did it on my channel for a little while, did it on his channel for a little while, and now we've just continued doing it on my channel. And Drybear did about 10 episodes, give or take. I think that's about right, Risty. You came on around 10 or
10, 12, something like that.
Yeah. So we've been doing it, guys. I mean, I've been doing the Smite Update well over a year right now. This podcast goes on. We try to get it going on every week, but if there isn't a patch, we don't do a show. If it's a really small patch, nothing earth-changing or groundbreaking, we don't do a show, or if we miss it for the holiday, not a big deal. But it is on YouTube, and it is also on iTunes and Android. So this is a really good show to listen to if you're on the road to work or you're at the gym pumping iron like my man F. does all the time. Anytime you need something audio to listen to, it's a really good show to listen to. So check it out on iTunes and also look it up on the Android platform. It's called The Smite Update. You gentlemen ready to jump into it?
Well, when you said about pumping iron, I was looking around for a Mars bar just to go, yeah. But no, I couldn't find one, so. Yeah, let's go.
Good deal. Well, I'm going to go ahead, guys, and kick off the community news section. I want to make sure that I point you guys over to a cool little website called Smite Shop. This is still running on. If you guys go over to SmiteShop.com, I'll put the link in chat. This is a website that is actually selling Smite t-shirts. It's something that I'm doing with a collaboration of High Res Studio and also with a cool little place called Child's Play, a charity. And 50% of all the sales proceeds go directly to charity. So, you know, go ahead and check it out, guys. There's plenty of cool Smite gear over there. Make sure you guys get outfitted for your lovely, wonderful 100+K tournament coming up here in a few weeks. Outside of that, other community news, we do see, you know, and once again, guys, want to incorporate here for community news, we're kind of just talking about, you know, stuff that's in the community that doesn't get as much attention. And so another item in the community that I want to point out is, I don't know if you, Risty or F.Dot, have seen this. Have you guys seen the Pocket Smite phone app that just came out this past week?
Just saw it.
Now, why are you laughing about it? Why are you laughing about it, bro?
You really gonna use that? Just it's 2 minutes to remember those mid cams. Come on, champ.
That's right. Okay. I
Somebody starting out jungler though, it could help out quite a bit. Because I remember when I first started jungling, I was like, I can kind of remember them, but if I had that, I could literally go, that camp's done, bang. It literally is. You just tap it, go, and then you can obviously check when everything's coming up.
I mean, I guess so. When I started in the jungle, I took a post-it note. I wrote 2 minutes for mid camps, 100 seconds for small camps, and then I wrote try hard, and I put it right there. And I was a beast jungler with my casual elo. That is.
You know, that reminds me without a doubt. Like when I played StarCraft 2, when I played StarCraft 2 days, I was super serious about it, and I got pretty dang good at StarCraft. And I had a post-it note as well that literally said like, okay, supply. It said SUV. You know, it had all these different things listed on it. So I understand the sticky note. But this is a pretty cool app. You know, it's definitely good for new players, as we talked about. Any of your novice, you know, any of your mid-range to, you know, kind of expert players aren't necessarily going to use this app. Once again, it's called Pocket Smite. And you can find it right here on this link. I'll go ahead and link the exact link from the Play Store, the Google Play Store. But it's a cool little app. All it does is pretty much keep track of the countdown on jungle spawn camps. And, you know, for somebody like F.Dot who has played the game enough where it's pretty much as a jungler become a habit for him in the back of his head, he might not use this. But for a new player who's like, I never remember the jungle camps, I can never get on top of them, I'm always behind, my jungling isn't doing as well because I'm losing out, it's a perfect thing. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. It's
if you carry on using it too much and rely on it, you're going to be pretty bad. So you want to do it till you get a bit of a feel, and then throw it away. Just rip that band-aid off and throw it away, and that's about it. But for new people, it's okay. It basically just gives what it will do really is give you kind of a route. You know, at this point I should be kind of here, and this point I should be kind of over there.
Yeah.
And eventually you should get it.
Yeah, treat it more like training wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just treat it like training wheels. Be like, all right, you use it, you get used to it, then stop using it.
You know, what are your thoughts on this one? If High Res started to add some of these things into the game, like training wheels, like for new players, you could turn it on and it would just give you a little pop-up message. You know how, like, okay, example. You know how World of Warcraft when I'm sorry, Risty, you played WoW, right?
I played a lot of WoW as well.
Okay, perfect, excellent. So everybody knows you had a million different add-ons with WoW. It was like it was a huge benefit, but also like the demise of making the game hard. And it would be kind of cool for new players, I'm going to put it out there, is if new players had an ability to add some of these add-ons, you know, within the game, even if it was like a Smite built one, where you could turn this type of stuff on as a reminder.
Whoa. You're thinking Deadly Boss Bots for Smite. No.
Pretty much.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants. That's what he wants.
You know what?
Literally. You'll have to type the little bar come up. Mid-camps in 20 seconds. Move your ass or get a smack.
That's right. That's right.
The only thing I could think of with the training wheels was F.Dot's going to walk over to you, pull them off your bike and push you over and go, there you go, get on with it.
Oh my gosh. So I have to say, I mean, it'd be pretty cool though, you know, it'd be pretty cool. I'd take it. I mean, I think it'd be a good idea. It would be
should be disabled after a certain level.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
I'm of the mindset that you want to, I'm of the mindset that you don't want to, in the same, I understand that you don't want to teach somebody too much at the same time, but as a I've taught a multitude of things in the past, and as a teacher myself, you don't want to start bad habits.
Okay.
You know, it's one thing if like once you're established and then you sort of like fall into a trap of doing something wrong, then we can talk a little differently, sort of like obey the rules before you break the rules. But at the core of it, like, I don't want somebody new. If I'm teaching a friend how to jungle or something, I don't want them to just and talking to that, like we had the mindset. It might seem like, you know, I have this counter at the top of my screen, 2 minutes, and eventually I'll just internalize that clock. But as you said, playing WoW with DBM, you tend to not internalize that. Like, I noticed killing bosses, you know, when you don't have DBM, you get a feel for it. You're like, okay, phase 2 is going to start around this percentage when, you know, as a healer or DPS, I'll get through my cycle X amount of times. When you just have DBM say, bum, 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 incoming 5 seconds, your brain shuts off. You don't think about that, and you just wait for the bum, bum, bum. And so that sort of thing, like, it's just going to teach new players the wrong way to learn. Whereas yeah, and if matchmaking was horrible, where level 1 players were getting matched up against level 30 players, I think then that would be a conversation to start. But if you start a new account, everybody's blue face red foot, you know, the meditation sprint auto buy. So everybody's on even keel. You don't have to worry about being like TSM team Q on your mid camps. You know, it's not really a concern. You sort of like get thrown into the mix, and it's just sort of like, well, eat your way out, bro. And eventually you'll get beat. And you'll wonder why you're getting beat, and it's because you're getting beat to those mid camps. You'll Google it. You'll find. You know what I think? I think there should be a list of all the timers not in game, but like right in the guide section. You know, like here's the info you need. Take it and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I
understand that.
Yeah, as an onboarding experience, it's kind of awkward for new players to be like, okay, I need to know all this information. I have to Google it. But in the same vein, I think providing that information on the screen in a whole, like, you know, quest log type deal is pushing it a little too far.
Well, no, I think that's a good point. I mean, I think that's, as I've always said, the loading screen, I think, should be revamped to be more educational. You know, I mean, it's cool to see the cards and to see some of the kills on some of the gold skins and stuff like that. But to me, I feel like it's a perfect opportunity, one, for advertising for Smite, and two, for an educational purpose. And I think something like that, F.dot, would be perfect. If during the loading screen, you know, one of the many things that could possibly come up in rotation is the timers. I think it's a great idea. And same thing as you said with guides. I think it's a really good point. Let's jump on the second community news thing. And this was kind of yesterday. And I know this is kind of like the hush-hush, you know, white elephant in the room. Don't really want to talk about it. But I think it's good to talk about because it's getting worse, is the Twitch viewerbot situation. Yesterday, Smite Game was at 50,000.
Yay, 50,000!
I know, right? It was awesome. It was awesome. But to me, there's some things we got to talk about right there. First off, you know, there's pros and cons to that. First, a nice pro is the fact that, you know, hey, Smite Game was listed as like, what, the second or third game in the top listings right there on Twitch. So that's awesome. More attention for us as the community, more players getting ongoing. What's this game that has so many viewers? Let me check it out. Great. The downside of that is, if you look at it, it's not good for advertising purposes. For example, if you're trying to sell a sponsorship spot or get a sponsor and they're looking at numbers and you go ahead and look at it, it's like, okay, you know, our average is around this number. Well, all of a sudden you got 50,000 one week. The week before that, you had 25,000. They're not accurate numbers. So for teams that are trying to sell sponsorship spots and stuff like that, or trying to sell a head sponsor, and the teams being like, hey, you know, we're on Smite Game every week, you know, in our tournament, we get, you know, it gets around 5,000 to 6,000 views. And then all of a sudden you see 50 or 24,000. That's great. But guess what? When those bots, you can't sell that to a sponsor. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, definitely. It's just like a fake number then. They look at that and go, well, so they'll know it's clearly wrong and there's something up there. And they'll go, well, yeah, like you say, you just can't show that to them and go, right, well, I've got this number, but that's not really the number you're actually getting. You're only getting this little bit. So, yeah, it's not looking too good.
F.dot, what are your thoughts when it comes to these bots? I mean, it's been getting worse and worse. What are your thoughts on what the repercussions are, I guess, for people looking to get sponsors and stuff like that?
I mean, the viewer bot situation is something that, like, okay, It's happening. You know, it definitely increases the footprint of Smite because,
Sure.
yeah, sure, 50,000. I'm not going to say we had an actual 50,000 people watching us. Like, I'm not that naive. But in the same vein, like, I also don't believe that every person over, because we had 15,000, 20,000 legitimate people watching the EU tournament last week when TSM and Cloud9 first got introduced. You know, we had 5 digits of people watching our stuff. So that's not something that, like, you know, it's not all bots. And when the bots come and they shove us at the front of Twitch, we get people that are interested in whether it be the game or the amount of people watching, because there's got to be something interesting going on. So, you know, the bots are there. They're obviously not run by anybody in charge of anything. It's somebody, you know, probably malicious, obviously. And, like, at the end of the day, you can't really do anything about it. And talking about it, you know, like, here, this is where we should talk about it because this is a good platform. But, like, you know, talking about it in chat every 2 lines, like, get out of here. Get out of my chat room, because that's calling attention to it. It's there. And guess what? Every time you say, oh, the bots, that doesn't delete one bot. Like, that doesn't delete one bot. That just brings attention to the fact that there are bots. And let's say there's a person that's not familiar that, oh, this is an actual thing, you know? Well, if nobody says it, then they don't even know. So as far as, like, does it impact sponsorships and stuff? I mean, when it comes to marketing, I'm not in marketing. I knew somebody that was in marketing, and she, you know, perception is reality, Octane. So, you know, it might not, it's obvious that there's not 50,000 people watching this, but you know, I'm not privy to their business plan, and numbers might beat the reality of the situation. And there's so many different things that come into that equation that I'm not going to outright say that bots prevent people from getting sponsorships. You know, Cloud9, TSM are very huge sponsors and new sponsors. So I think Smite's just going to get larger, and, you know, for what it's worth, the LCS gets botted just as much as we do, if not more. You know, like it happens. Once you reach a certain level of success, you're gonna get haters, and you know, some of them are robotic. But what can you do, man?
I thought it was really good as, like, a small kind of streamer myself, like below 10 like viewers and stuff. When 1,000 people come in, like, I know it's 1,000 bots, but I'm sitting there going, but I'm up there now. I'm not lost in that little batch. I'm at least somewhere that people can come in. I was like, bring in more people. I don't care. Keep the bots in for a minute. I don't mind. I was quite happy about it for a little bit. I wouldn't want to keep them in there all the time, but every now and again, just boost you up, put you somewhere, get some people to view you, and then go away. That's pretty much.
Without
I mean, I remember I was watching a particular streamer who got botted, and, you know, he was sitting at like 1,000 viewers, and he popped all the way up to like 10 grand, 5 grand. And there were people coming in, just, why is this guy having so many viewers? They watched him, and the person I'm talking about is a funny dude. So they were like, wow, I don't even know what game he's playing, but you got to follow. I think you're funny. And so, like, Twitch doesn't help out the small man at all. Like, Twitch has a very awkward setup as far as, like, getting your start. And if you know, if you run bots yourself, that's absolutely awful, and I hope you get banned from Twitch, and you probably will get banned from Twitch. But if somehow serendipitously bots come to your channel in an effort to, like, shut you down, you know, first of all, you can't shut them off. So
that's true.
So, like, get out of here complaining to me that I have bots on my channel. They're not my bots. I can't shut them off. You know, so the best you could do about it is just put on your best Guan face and try your hardest to entertain some people and make the best of a bad situation, you know? And I used the term bad with the obnoxious air quotes because, you know, there ain't no such thing as bad publicity, Octane. Not at all.
I agree. My concern there is just the fact of, I hate for it to work out negatively for people, whereas people are like, oh yeah, check out the Smite community. See how many viewers we're getting per week, and it's like 50,000 plus during a weekend, and then all of a sudden the bots stop and it falls down, and we're down to like 6,000. That's all I'm saying about when it comes down to the sponsorship thing and showing that over a long term. But let's not sit on the bots too long. Definitely, as F. had said, you know, either way, we're getting publicity, we're getting viewers, we're getting attention, and that's what we want. I mean, that's what we want as a Smite community, to get that out there. Moving on to our last thing within the Smite community section, what's kind of interesting, found it on Reddit, was the Smite Awards for 2014. Did any of you guys see this yet?
No, I've literally, this is the first time I've seen this.
Yeah, I came across it. It's something from a viewer, and I thought it was kind of cool because I am very much community content driven, as a lot of you guys know in chat. That's all I do. I create content for the community. And
I thought you were a pro.
What's that?
I thought you were a pro.
Dude, I get that all the time, and what I say is I am a pro. You know, take it or leave it, buddy. Take it or leave it. I'm a pro at what I do. That's all I gotta say. So, anyways, this was something that a community member is putting together, and this is the kind of attention I want to give towards that person. Like, when people put this kind of stuff together, I think this is great. And what I'm saying is it's called the Smite Awards for 2014. It's pretty much a community-driven thing that a guy's putting together, trying to put together a bunch of different categories within the Smite community to give awards out to. And it's, a virtualized award. It's nothing crazy, but he's putting together some stuff and trying to get a panel of people together to go ahead and make some decisions on, and some of the categories he had, just a few, was like Rookie of the Year, hottest god. And so then some of them go into like gods, like hottest god, stuff like that. So there's a few different things, but I think it's cool. And I want to encourage, the reason I brought this up was I want to encourage the community to continue to come out. What is that laugh about?
I want to give a shout out to Muffins from chat for calling Risty Nico Bellic. I'm sorry to cut you off. I couldn't help myself. Keep going on.
This is why we don't have F dot on these type of shows, guys.
You love it. I'm sorry.
For some reason,
I didn't even catch that reference. I did not play enough GTA.
For some reason, I invite F dot back time and time again, and I don't know why. I really don't.
He makes you pay for it every time.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Anyway, so I encourage you guys to do this type of stuff. I think it's kind of cool. We need more of it in the community, to be honest with you. We should not look to high res to be putting out everything. Let's look to the community. So that's definitely just why I bring that up. It's nothing crazy. I'll put a link in chat to it for you guys to be able to check it out. It is from Reddit. It is work safe, so no worries if you guys are at work. And I did link it in chat, so make sure that you guys do check it out. So
good, I'm at work.
That's right. You're at work. That's right. So let's go ahead and dive into our next section of the show. And we have, if you guys are just checking the show out for the first time, once again, this is a weekly show. Doesn't usually run on Smite Game, but this might be a new possibility. We're kind of trying it out today to see, hey, does this fill a spot where nothing's on, and we can go ahead and put some content in. So we'll have to see how the powers that be at high res like it on Smite Game, if it fits the kind of niche that we have going on here. And we'll kind of go from there. So our next section is going to be an esports update, and then we're going to jump into, last week's patch notes. And people in chat, I know, might be confused. Well, why are we going over last week's patch notes? What's up with that? The only purpose of this kind of going over last week's patch notes, guys, is just to discuss it in an open type of forum layout and just kind of talk about it. Some of the things we liked and didn't like, some things that are changing the game, some big things that have come out, stuff like that. So that's why we go over last week's patch notes like a week later, because it's been a week. We now have an opportunity to go ahead and take a look at it all at once. Usually when the patch comes out, people speculate. They're like, all right, great, the patch is coming out tomorrow. Here's all the things we're going to go over. Great. But nobody goes a week later and then looks back and takes a look at it. So that's the whole purpose of looking at last week's patch, is to allow us to have a little experience, play with it a little bit, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into the esports update, and I'm going to pass it over to F. just to kind of go over, some of the updates going on within the esports scene this past week.
I don't know anything about esports.
Dude,
Octane
you live and
Pro?
breathe this stuff. I swear, I feel like you don't eat. You just sit in front of the computer and watch this stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, no, we had some pretty crazy stuff. This week going on. The NA Cognitive won. Surprise. Cognitive won this week for the 5th week. We have had 5 weeks. It's funny. It's funny. I've attracted a little bit of negative attention for being biased towards COG because I say how much they win. But frankly, there is nothing else to say. They just win. They dominate the NA seed week in, week out. They have 22 wins, 2 losses.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing to say about the British. We hate people that win. We love the underdog. So people that win, we don't like you. We would root for anyone that isn't winning just because they're not winning.
Yeah, and myself too. I don't really root for anybody, and that's not even me being like Mr. Political Esports Caster here, no affiliation whatsoever. I just like all these dudes. I like all the teams that come out. I like the teams that come out. They have different reasons for me to like them. different. Everybody's got different stuff that interests me. Denial has a cool culture. The nice guys of Smite. Dignitas just have been there as a team for a long time, and who doesn't love Zapman and Laz? And Cognitive is. Do I have to say anything else besides Cognitive? And Clash and Slash are like the old dudes that finally found a team and they're rocking it. And Jerby misses his ults, LOL. And that's just cool stuff. And the EU scene, everybody is just so fun.
Yeah.
Da da da. I'm even getting crap in chat right now for being a fanboy.
That's right.
Full disclosure, Cognitive isn't my favorite team, and it's not my favorite team even in the NA region.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. It's just facts be facts. You can visit, I've got to plug this, www.smitepros.com for all your esports information. It's a Tier Monster affiliated website. It's super, super, super. I mean, when you talk about Zelia has 69 KDA, that's where we're getting the info from. Yeah. So definitely check that out. And I don't want to forget about Snipe. Snipe is actually one of my favorite teams to watch in the NA scene. They're just really cool dudes, and Shing and Allied work well together, very, very, very well. But in the NA scene, and so let me put this out there.
Sure.
I think that the NA scene has rosters capable of beating Cognitive, and I'm not saying that the teams involved are not putting in as much work, because we all know they are. Cognitive has an intangible right now that the other teams haven't figured out, and I think, like I said, I need to repeat this. I think the other teams are as good as Cognitive, but they're not winning, and I'm not a pro. I'm not in those meetings. I don't know how to fix that. But I think teams can definitely beat Cog at the moment. Because Dignitas won. Okay, so this is an interesting stat. Cognitive has already clinched their playoff berth, if you will. They're already going to the 100K. Nobody can take that away from them. If Dignitas had lost this week in the losers bracket, which they won, so this is just a hypothetical. If Dignitas had lost, then they would have clinched their #1 NA seed slot. That's how dominant they are. They literally have 500 points out of 500 points that they could have achieved. Wow. So, I think that there's something that could dethrone these people, and I want them to be dethroned. They're going in the 100K period, and we'll see what happens when EU fights them. But I really think that there are multiple teams in the NA scene that can win first and second place. I think that can happen, and I'm excited to see it happen. Trust me, like I said, I don't root for anyone in particular. I generally have a hard time rooting for teams because I've grown to love all these teams. But I think it's possible, and so I tend to root for the underdog, as I put one in chat. But I tend to root for the underdog. It's just part of what I do. But moving away from Cognitive, it's just because their players are so good, and like I said, everybody's evenly matched. They just have something else.
Yeah. So two things I want to point out. Interesting enough, just kind of revolving around these things is. I have to. Okay, first thing, and maybe you know the stat or not. When was the last time Team Dignitas was in the top 2 slots in the tournament?
Team Dignitas was in the. You mean the finals?
Yeah.
Week 4, 2 weeks ago, they fought Cognitive Gaming, and they took one away, if I'm not mistaken. That was one of their losses.
Yeah.
So Cognitive only lost to Dignitas in the finals in week 4, and Denial in the finals in week 1.
The reason I bring it up, to be honest with you, is because I feel like right now Team Dignitas is one of the only few teams that has the most LAN experience. They've been to a multiple amount of LAN events, and I try to point this out a lot. I think I talked about it on the roundtable on Thursday, but I want to reiterate it here, folks, that when you guys are looking at these teams, and you're like, wow, Cognitive's blowing everyone out of the water, that's fine, but that's an online tournament. Let's wait and see how they play in front of hundreds of people, not in their parents' house, in their bedroom or basement, or at their own office, in their own house, whatever. I'm not trying to stab at anyone there. But, there's a huge difference between an online event using your own gear and using, in your own atmosphere that's comfortable, and then putting you at a LAN event where you have hundreds of people yelling and screaming, and you're up on stage, and you got lights in your face and stuff like that, and you're trying to play. So, I have a feeling Team Dignitas and teams like Denial are going to do rather well at a LAN event versus some of these other teams who haven't had to deal with the nerves yet. No one's really had to dive into that,
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, and one of the things that I always used to say that was Dignitas's strength, and I still think it's their strength, even though they're unable to win first place lately, is the fact that they've been a team for so long. They've been in so many events together, and their chemistry is there. You know, they have a lot of chemistry. I'm sure that, you know, situations have occurred that changed their mind recently, but you know, their chemistry is up there, and it's one of the things that make them a top caliber team. So when we come to land situations, like you said, I'm sure that'll affect them. I'm not sure. Like, I'm sure it's land situations. It's one of those things that I think will make a team like Dignitas better, but will not make a team like Cognitive Snipe, whoever else is up there, worse.
Sure. No, yeah, exactly. I mean, another thing I want to point out, too, which didn't get as much attention as I think it deserves, and it's big news, is that Team Dignitas got re-signed for another year. The players got re-signed, and it's huge news because, you know, we in the Smite community have not really had teams that have lasted that long. You know, I mean, if you look back at Root and you look back at Curse and stuff like that, like, they were great, but they didn't really last that long. They kind of had their, you know, excitement and their time in the spotlight, their 15 minutes of fame, you could say, and then they kind of like fizzled off and, you know, broke off and went on to other teams. So I think it's really, really important to point out that Team Dignitas, you know, being re-signed for a whole nother year on salaries is a huge thing for the Smite Esports scene because not everyone's there yet. Go ahead.
It adds a lot of legitimacy to the scene, Octane Pro, like without a doubt. You know, when I heard that, and they're not the first team to get salaried. To be fair, I'm gonna get blasted for this because I'm going to be wrong. Do it. But I think it was Curse Gaming back in the day, which ironically was still Zapman. But somebody's definitely going to make a Reddit thread and correct me in chat. Somebody they're not the first to have. I think actually no correction. It was Old Cog. And nobody can correct me because I said it first. It was Old Cog that got salaried. So it's not the first. But it's definitely the big, like, you know, Lazes is Lazes and Zapman is Zapman. And these are the dudes that get a lot of viewers as far as that's concerned. So, you know, being able to say, hey, look, Mom, I get a salary for playing my sport, you know, like, that's cool. We're now, like, because we're now reaching that level of, you know, sort of like WNBA or like professional lacrosse. Like, we exist! Yeah. So a little more of this as the game gets bigger and bigger. It'll be like, you know, this is what I want to see, because that means that at least Dignitas, who is a very respected name in esports in general, believes that there's some sort of legitimacy and future in Smite. And so that, not only for the players on Dignitas themselves, but for the players on other teams that are sponsored, notice that this is a real thing. You know, we will be able to give you salaries because this is the precedent has been set before in the past, of course. But now Smite is bigger than it used to be, so it just adds legitimacy and a bigger footprint for the Smite community.
Yeah, without that. Last thing I have to comment on, just the North American scene, and then I'll let you do your thing, F. So, Denial Esports only making it to round 3 2 weeks in a row after they swapped out Pon as their jungler. What are your thoughts there, F.
You know, while I don't think Pon is, I mean, Denial is a very well balanced team. I don't think they necessarily have too much of a skill offset, and if I were to choose somebody that was a weak link, it would not be Pon. And like I said, I honestly don't have a weak link on Denial. I think that they're a very team-based team, as obnoxiously sportscaster that sounds. I think they're a very team-based team. And Pon had other stuff going on. It wasn't just a call from the organization to get better wins, but in the same vein, I also appreciate Denial trying new things. Like I said, the reason he didn't play was not 100% because of their recent troubles, but I'm sure that had something to do with the conversation. And I really respect Dignitas. I thought it was a really professional move to, you know, let a fan favorite sit. It was his choice. And I just think it was a professional move by the organization and by Pon himself to try new things, because at the end of the day, a win is more important than a single player.
Yes.
And that's just so important to me, and it's important to me that the team recognizes that. And Snoopy is a great backup, and he's done a lot of work with them both in ranked and scrims and etc. So and Pon's the starter. That's his role. It was 1 week. So like I said, I applaud them for trying something new to try and get that win, because they understand that wins are more important than one player.
Sure, sure. Rusty, any last comments on the NA scene before I let
No,
this
no,
man
you
move
guys
on?
pretty covered that, really. I was kind of just like, well, I'll just let that one go for the minute. Whoa. So,
All right,
no, it's
what
pretty
else?
good.
What else you got after that?
Um, let's talk about the war zone that was Armada Gaming versus EG3 Octane Pro. For those of you that did not get to see this game, it was a 30-minute kill extravaganza. Armada Gaming with 59 kills and EG3 with 13 kills. Okay. The
Sure.
game was over a lot earlier than the 30 minutes it took to kill the Titan. Armada Gaming did a lot of, let's not kill the fire giant. Let's chase these guys into their well and murder them. And
I noticed that. I noticed that.
Yeah, and so
let's have some fun. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those teams, one of those games that are early in the brackets. And Armada Gaming is a very good team. Armada Gaming is a good team. They might not be on the top upper echelon as the other teams, but they do get better. Each week we do see more and more from them. I like the team. I like what they have to show to us. Armada Gaming, they have some really good players on their team. I know that Lucier, whenever he gets Thanatos, really does a lot of work. But and I'm always the one that says it's a game. Whatever happens in game is part of it. But this one I wasn't sure how to react because they were definitely being sour sports, so to speak. Yeah. They could have killed the Titan a long time before they actually did. And Hi-Rez gave them a warning. And I'm glad that wasn't my choice because, like I said, I was very split on the because where do you draw the line? Like, yes, it was obvious that they were trolling, yes. But that's a weird precedent to set. In the future, like, let's say you didn't think you can kill the Titan and you wanted to wait it out, and instead of just one fight, it wound up being an extra 15 minutes. Yeah. Are you going to get warned? So that's a weird precedent to start. In that situation, I agree with it. And to be fair, Armada, from what I've heard, I don't know, but from what I heard, Armada was like, all right, our bad. Like, we won't do it again. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, they're seeded 6th. They're definitely, one of the top few teams there within the North American side. Just above them is Clash and Slash and several of those other really good teams. I think the downside there is, one, sportsmanship, as somebody mentioned in chat, but also the fact of you're wasting time for the tournament. These tournaments go way too long as it is. And second, the fact is just that, the tournament admins want to move it along. They know the possibility to end the game is there, and as you said, it's kind of bad manner. If you have the possibility to end the game, end it and move on. And it's not as embarrassing for the other team. And nothing against the other team. I mean, EG3. Keep playing in the tournament every week. Don't be embarrassed about it. It's going to happen. There's always someone that's going to be better than you, and there's always someone that's going to be worse. And so just keep on battling through it. It was a seeded 11th team versus a seeded 6th team. So, pretty big difference there. But yeah, I think if any other team, like let's say they played a Cognitive or a Denial or whatever, would have just, blown through them, taken care of it, no problem, ended the game rather quickly and been done with it.
Well, I want to say something funny.
Sure, go for it. Say it.
A little bit of vigilante justice as well. The next match they played was against Allied and Shing's Snipe. So I didn't see the match. It wasn't televised. And knowing Allied and Shing, I don't think that they did the exact same thing. But just looking at the match between them, Allied went 6-1-17. Nick went 9-1-10. Wolfie went 5-1-11. The game lasted 29 minutes, I believe, 26 minutes. So, it was cool how that worked out. Like I said,
they just got obliterated.
Yeah, I didn't see it, and I doubt that they did the same thing, like extending the game longer than it had to be. But they got pooped on, to use a moderated version of one of Allied's catchphrases. They just got pooped on. And I'm all for sportsmanship. But you know what?
It's karma. It's karma, baby. It's karma.
Exactly.
It's karma.
I love you, Armada, but what goes around comes around, homie.
Yep. Yes, that is very true. It's like, all right, you're gonna embarrass someone in BM on one round. Snipe's gonna come up and just demolish you. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice that happened because it shows them the opposite perspective.
Exactly. That was definitely a lot of fun to see, you know. And like I said, Armada, you know, they got their warning and they're gonna move on. They were like, okay, our bad. And shout out to the dudes from EG3. I really like what I saw from them. There was a Reddit thread about it, and they were like, yo, we were just having fun. We had an inexperienced support because our dude was like busy doing something else, and you know, we had fun. Like we were just having fun. And I was casting the game, and you could tell that they were like, well, they beat us. Let's wait for them to win. We'll hunt 5v1 and get a kill and feel good about ourselves. And like that's at the core of it is what the game is about, you know. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about Smite, where you know we compete for a couple of $1,000 each week, or we're talking about the Super Bowl that's on tonight, where they're competing for bazillions of dollars. You know, at the core of it, those dudes chose those professions because they enjoy playing the game. And when Carmelo Anthony goes out there and plays basketball, like, yeah, he's making a bunch of money, but he's just enjoying the game. And he has other pressures on him because of contracts and this, that, and the third, but he's just enjoying the game. And when these guys go out and play Smite, like, it's fun. It's a fun game, and they might get money from here and get money from there, and they might be competing to win these seed points to get to a It's just fun, Octane. They're just having fun.
Is it just fun, man? It's not all serious. There's some fun involved in video games. Is that
yeah,
real?
It's
real?
It's easy to forget that. Like, we're joking about this right now, but when you're playing at that top level, Octane, it's really easy to forget that. And I like
winning's addictive.
Exactly.
Right.
Winning is addictive, especially when I'm starting to get like a bit of a winning streak on. I'm sitting there on the stream going, "Oh yeah, come on!" It's well good. Just
and then when you lose, like even in ranked, which is worth literally nothing, when you lose after a while, and you're like, "What is my soulmate doing? Why would you build that?" You know, you're getting mad, and you sit back and you reflect, and you're like, "Why am I so mad? Like, why you have to be mad? It's just the game." Like,
right. I like the voice, by the way. I like the voice.
but yeah, I mean, like, you know, and you know, there are people that have other mentalities. Maybe some of these players don't actually enjoy the game. Shout out to Synthetics Lee in chat that's talking about Andrew Bynum, who just does it for the money. Maybe some of these players are just looking for the recognition and the extra viewer counts on their channels. I don't know, but I would say almost every pro player that I've ever spoken to when it comes to Smite literally just legitimately enjoys the game. So, you know, shout out to fun.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. So let's go ahead and check out the EU scene. What do you got for EU?
EU scene. So that top bracket up there is cursed. You know, TSM and Cloud9 are our, you know, 1-2 combination, our two top teams. If at the risk of being called biased, they're the two best teams in EU.
The Seahawks and the Broncos, baby. Seahawks and the Broncos.
I can't even say the two best because Team Q is like always super surprising, and Torch is always super surprising, and they do a lot of crazy stuff. But TSM and Cloud9 are really the two teams to look at. And that top bracket. Last week TSM got beat by Torch. This week Cloud9 got beat by Team Q. So the underlings, the underdogs are winning in that top bracket every week. I mean, that's just a fun little stat. It means absolutely nothing. It's all about the team caliber and the strengths and weaknesses of each teams. But you know, it's just stuff like that. You know, it's really cool to see that. I love the fact that Team Q is an unsponsored team making it to the finals. You know, even taking one away. But at the end of the day, TSM won. You know, TSM, Team Q really put on like a huge. Team Q did a great job. Team Q, NQ is fantastic. I could talk about, you know, all 5 members of that team. But at the end of the day, you know, TSM is sponsored by one of the largest esports organizations for a reason. Yeah. You know, TSM, Team Solo Mid, for those of you that are unfamiliar, is a League of Legends, and that's it. Esports community. TSM and Cloud9 do not lend their name out to just anybody. You know, you see these teams, and no disrespect to any of these that I'm going to pull out of my face, but like Reason Gaming and Exertus and Denial, you know, these teams will sponsor, you know, a Tetris Friends team if they think it's going to be successful enough. Cloud9 and TSM.
Competitive Tetris, baby. Competitive Tetris.
Exactly.
Yeah, take this badge. It's like a Blue Peter badge.
They guard their brand so carefully, and the fact that they recognize not only the game of Smite for being so interesting, but these players, like, that means a lot. And you know, they prove week in, week out. Each one of these teams are in the finals every week, so you know, it's pretty cool.
So Risty, did you get a chance to catch any of this today or no?
Did I caught a very little bit. Like I said, I was trying to get some footage today, but no, I saw Drybear just constantly going, Team Q. They could be the first non-sponsored team to win, and then they didn't win. So I was sitting there rooting because, to be honest, I've gone up against, was it Real ZX?
Real ZX, yes.
Yeah,
Hunter.
I've gone up against him in ranked all the time, and he doesn't play anything but on her. I want to punch him. But yeah, it blows me away every time I see him. So I definitely would like to see a non-sponsored team win, just for the fact that they ain't sponsored.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean the big thing to me too is as F.Dot had kind of pointed out, last week, we didn't see TSM and Cloud9 have both lost going into that final grand finals, and I think that's important to look at because we're now seeing 2 weeks in a row. Are we going to start to see this repeat week in and week in and week out? Because the reason I bring that up is it's going to create better competition. Make the teams be better. They have to go ahead and, Cloud9 and Team Solo Mid so far, maybe they, a little more relaxed because they're like, oh, wow, we know we're getting in the grand finals. Once in the grand finals, we just have to go against the other team. Well, as the weeks go on and we approach the end of these qualifying rounds, those of you guys in chat not familiar, this is a qualifying. I mean, week in and week out here, it's all qualifying until we get to the end of February, and then it's over. I mean, the teams are set in stone, and we'll know who's going down to Atlanta in March. So I think it's really, really important that as the weeks go on, we keep an eye out to see who is, in the top 4. Who's, contending with Team Solo Mid, who's contending with Cloud9. That's going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah, the EU seeding is so interesting. Like TSM, Cloud9, Team Q, Torch, they're always right there. But like you have Armada Gaming that's getting better by the weekend. They might be mathematically out of the Atlanta trip, but they're still a pleasure to watch when they do get televised. Team I5 as they finally, the casters, shout out to DM and Dry Bear for being absolutely amazing casters. They are, I mean, let's be real, I'm not going to fangirl. They're not my inspiration when I wake up in the morning. But
they're my inspiration, bro, but it's okay.
But I respect that they are two very talented individuals at what they do. Their chemistry is like on par with Tasteless and Artosis. I'm so impressed every time I watch, and that's like, I was saying this before I was involved in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have a good thing, and I think that's very good for Smite. But like they're really cool to watch, and I completely forgot what I was going to say, but pretend like it was interesting.
That's all right. That was really interesting. No big deal.
That was amazing, man. That was clearly just amazing.
So something else to point out, guys, that we haven't really talked a ton about, which I think is really big news, and I blame F.Dot for not bringing it up yet, is the fact of the prize pool. The prize, yeah, that's right. It's your fault. So last I checked, we were up to like 146,000. One of you guys maybe will jump in chat and take a look at what we're at. But anyways, guys, those of you guys not familiar, you're living under a rock, or you just haven't been up to date with what's going on. This past week we had the Poolsidon skin released. The Poolsidon skin released, and a large majority of that skin, I think it's $5 per skin, is going directly towards the prize pool. So we're seeing Hi-Res Studios take a kind of card directly out of Dota 2. Valve's kind of set there in looking to the community to help sponsor and fuel these prize pools. And 100,000 was a huge deal for the Smite community, but now, all right, perfect. Darkened Fire in chat, thank you very much. $146,320 US. So this is huge. This is huge because this is the first tournament I think that I could say that I remember, and I've been in the scene for well over a year now, that I could say that the community is fueling. Where
it's the only one.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen people in chat that have come over from other scenes and be like, why don't you just charge an entry fee? Nobody in Smite's paying for an entry fee. I'm sorry. But this is huge. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, the community is fueling the prize pool, and right now we have $100,000 being put out by Hi-Res. Awesome. We'd love them for it. It's a great way to market their game, especially the esports scene, to get more sponsors and big names into the scene. But now the community's helping out just by buying a skin. So I'll go around the table. We'll start out with Risty first. I mean, Risty, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, what do you think this does for us?
I love the idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
I was gonna say instead of making the players richer, what does this do for us?
No, it's great to see. Like, it basically gets everybody that buys the skin knowing they're contributing to it, makes them feel part of the scene and actually part of the tournament that's going on. So it's really great in that respect. Good idea that they've done it on, and all the extra skin, and it also gives just that big oomph, give that big prize pool out that people go, well, it's 100K tournament. Now we could see it. I don't know if it hit the 200K, but it might hit the 175. That's kind of where I'm reckoning it might bottom out a bit. but no, it's just really good to kind of see everybody getting involved, pushing forward, and enjoying the skin while they take it.
Yeah, yeah. What are your thoughts after that?
I mean, I just think it's awesome, dude. You guys know me. If any of the fanboy calls about me are correct, it is the fact that I'm a huge Smite fanboy. I just love this game. It's my first MOBA. I love the whole aspect of it. I come from a world of I hate the term real sports, but like I come from a world where
traditional.
Thank you. Actually, I've been looking for a replacement, and traditional is the way to go. I watch a lot of traditional sports, and I'm actually that one loser that's subscribed to Chess Network on Twitch. Like I just have a passion for strategy, and I like when strategy is combined with different types of skills. Yeah. So like Smite was really interesting to me, and as we buy the pool party Poolsidon skin, whatever it's called, it just increases, obviously, for all of our friends, as we should call them, the pros that we watch week in, week out. It increases, like, stuff for them, cool stuff. It just increases the footprint that to use some, like, marketing lingo. The brand footprint of Smite gets larger as this prize pool gets larger, I tweet about hashtag path to 100K all the time. I have like a column on it for my tweet deck, and when I combine it with the hashtag esports, and I've slowly been noticing, like higher ups at like ESL, the Electronic Sports League, or sort of like a MLG similar network, started to follow me and follow Smite Game. People that are involved with like high popular casters are starting to follow me in Smite Game, and that's important. Where Smite is being noticed, and a 100K tournament is a huge deal. But the fact that the small beta community. Give a round of applause to yourself in chat, everybody that bought the skin and everybody that didn't get out chat. Just kidding, I love you. But, like, seriously, everybody that bought the skin is single-handedly making Smite a bigger game and making bigger people excited about it. So that's what it means to me. It means to me, when people from ESL, when people from MLG, when people from LCS start looking at you, when League of Legends casters start looking at Smite and the game that it is and the community following it, I'm excited, dude. I'm mad excited.
Well, it's interesting. Somebody in chat said there that, and I don't know how accurate these stats are, guys, but someone said in the first day there was over 4,000 of those skins sold. I think that's
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that ticker going.
Yeah.
So high. So high.
Pretty good, pretty good. So anything else we want to talk about today? Maybe go down some of our standings. What are our standings right now for the NA and EU scene top four? You got that off the top. Come on, you should know this. You should be memorized.
I was actually looking at something else. Could you repeat the question?
Is that overall or just
my question was, can you go over the overall standings for the NA and EU scene for the top four?
Yeah, sure. Cognitive Gaming is maintaining their dominant position at the top with 500 points right now. Team Dignitas is at 260 at number 2. And then Snipe and Denial round up the 3rd and 4th spot. There's actually a huge schism between all these teams in the North American team. So we have Cognitive Gaming at 500 points, which means they've literally never lost a single week. Team Dignitas at 260. They have been in and out of the finals. Snipe has made it to the finals a couple of times. And Denial, they've only made it to the finals once, and they've had a rough patch. So they're there. And Clash and Slash is right beneath them. I think they're sitting at Denial's at 105 and Clash and Slash is at 90. And that's where our true keep up to date on those points is really going to be. Because you're not going to usurp Cognitive Gaming, unfortunately. Mathematically, it's impossible. Unbiased and mathematically, it's impossible to uncrown Cognitive Gaming at the moment, but that second place position might be up for discussion if Snipe goes absolutely ham, but it's all about that 4th seed. We're going to see Cog and Dig, and I'm pretty sure Snipe. And whether or not Denial and Clash and Slash make it to the 100K is up for grabs. And then on the EU side of things, again, much more. We have 400 points going to TSM and 360 going to Cloud9. So that is very, very under contention. Very interesting right there. Team Q with 190 and Torch with 175. So there's like 2 little brackets right there, right? It's, TSM and Cloud9 are vying for that 1st place position, whereas Team Q and Torch are vying for who's going to be above them in the seed. And, 2nd place is doable if Team Q and Torch continue to perform like they are now. So, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty exciting. If you look at both scenes, look past the 1st and 2nd place teams, I know to a degree. I mean, I know you mentioned Team Dignitas a little bit in NA, but if you look at 3rd, 4th, and 5th, it's so close. So over the next few weeks, that's what everyone's going to be keeping an eye on. Those last, because remember, it's only top 4, so we're talking about the top 5, and slots 3, 4, and 5 are so close together. I mean, under 100 is super, super close there, which is really exciting to see. I mean, there's a big difference in the EU scene between, I guess I would say, 4th and 5th. But when you go over the NA scene, I mean, there's not that big a difference. 105 to 75 when you have Denial Esports with Clash and Slash. It's really close. So I think as we approach the very end of the tournament, the hype is going to swap from like your 1st and 2nd place teams to like, okay, who's going to sneak in the 4th place? So I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you said it yourself in the NA. It's people always complain about, and this isn't my standing. This is what I see in chat and on Reddit, etc. People always complain. NA's boring. COD just wins every week, and I don't want to watch it. Yeah. Well, son, don't watch it to see who wins number 1.
Yeah.
See who goes to Atlanta. Denial and Clash and Slash are like fighting each other, punching each other in the face week in, week out. That's where the excitement is, because whoever makes it will go get the free flight and the free everything to Atlanta. That they're going to be on land, and one team is going to be upset and not make it. So that's where your excitement is in the NA scene. In the EU scene, there's 4 teams in the conversation. I'm sorry, Gimme Yo Sandwich has performed pretty well. I like watching them. I think they have good attitudes. I mean, their team name is Gimme Yo Sandwich, and their clan tag is Bully. So that's just awesome. You can infer what kind of players they are right there. But, at the end of the day, like Torch has 175 and Gimme Yo Sandwich has 40. So I think it's unrealistic for them to mathematically, if they win first place each week until the end, they can place, but I'm sorry, I'm a realist. It's not going to happen.
Sure. All right, so we got anything else coming from you, F. Dot, on the esports scene before we move into just like the recent patch?
Not particularly. We hit NA, we hit EU. I guess we could go ahead and I can divulge my favorite team. My favorite team in the NA scene is definitely.
You pulled it. Way to be that guy, bro. Way to be that guy.
What happened? I just told everybody my favorite team.
I know, man.
It was funny though, because a while back it used to be Team Dignitas won everything, and then nobody could contend it. Then all of a sudden, Cogs just winning everything. It seems to be with the NA, one team kicks the crap out of everyone else for a while until someone else comes back up and takes over.
Yeah.
EU's a bit more of a mixed bag, but you definitely see like a proper dominant force in the NA side. Look, just everyone wants to take over. So we want we got to get someone else back up there to contention. So Dignitas need to get a finger out their ass and get moving.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like I think it's cool that COG is winning. They've earned it. It's not like they're using hacks. Like, and this is a conversation I have with my friend all the time. Like, what is it that they do that other teams don't do? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like this is basketball where LeBron James is just bigger than you and you can't guard him. Like, everybody gets the same damn gods. What's going on?
Yep, everyone gets the same gods. There's no runes or anything like that makes one player better than another. You all go in on equal footing. That's it.
Exactly. So I want to see, and like I said, I'm a pretty unbiased dude, and that's not me being political. I just really enjoy both scenes, and I frankly, I love COG, but I want to see somebody beat them just because somebody can beat them. That is the only reason. I believe it can happen, and at this point, I think teams in the NA scene might, feel a little dejected that COG is just going to win. But frankly, I'm speaking to everybody out there, and I'm not taking anything away from you guys. You guys are definitely confident as hell, but you can beat COG. I'm telling you can beat COG.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm talking to everybody. Y'all can beat COG. I don't know what it takes. I ain't a pro, but y'all can beat COG. I really think that the rosters available right now on a majority of the teams are capable of beating the roster of COG.
You know how you beat COG? You don't tell them when the tournament's starting. Take them out to lunch and get you guys to play while they're AFK. That's how you beat COG.
That's right. Get them drunk the night before. That's right. That's what you do.
Very much.
All right, well, let's go ahead. We have about a half hour left, a little less. Then I need to prep for another show, Smite Talk, that'll be coming on later tonight with Mez. So Mez is going to be joining me. Mesmerize will be joining me for Smite Talk, which will be a lot of fun. We had F. Dot on the other week, so it should be pretty cool there. I know. Who's that guy? Who's that F. Dot guy? He was such a troll.
You're going to have
everything.
Mesmerize, the guy with the beautiful voice.
I know, right? I can't wait. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to jump into our patch notes section, a little different than what most are used to here. And we're kind of just going to do a brief kind of overview of it. And what I mean by that is just we're going to kind of just skim through the notes and just kind of mention things that we feel are super significant, and that, hey, if you've been out of town or not being available, these are things you should look for in the latest patch. So I'm going to throw it over to Risty, and Risty, I'll just let you start us off, and then we'll just kind of jump in and interrupt you with some details.
I feel I need like a little jingle just to start this section off.
Jing jing!
No. So we've had the Poolsidon skin actually was added, so we've all talked about that a little bit more. That's only available till the 30th of this year, so make sure you get that. It's good. Yeah. I'd say this is the only skin that's going to be proper limited edition. We did see also the other edition of the Moonlight Chunga Love that's in there. And I'll tell you what, the voice of that rabbit. Oh baby, that gets me every time.
I heard F. did that voiceover, by the way, for the
really.
Rabbit.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, that was totally me, of course.
They call that the ladies' man voice pack. The ladies' man voice pack.
Yeah, I equip a different voice pack when I go out for the night, so like in real life.
I could just imagine that in the nightclub. Hey, baby, hang on a minute. Let me get rid of the other guy. There we go. Carry on. But like they say, this one I'm not sure if it's going to stay like proper limited, as all the other seasonal skins are available the next year on. But this one has like the specific February 19th, 2014. I'm like, are they actually going to make this one proper limited now as well? I haven't had any confirmation about that, so we'll have to work on from there. And does have custom voice pack additions as well with this skin, as well as the Poolsidon one. The Poolsidon one is so annoying. Oh god, it is now the most annoying voice pack I can think of.
Well,
I had to mute it.
Have you seen, though, the Poolsidon skin? His front foot almost acts like it's getting caught in front of him. So if you use it and play with him, you'll notice, like, there isn't as much water under this skin as there is the other Poseidon skins. And so it looks like his front flipper, the animation, is getting, like, stuck on the ground as he, like, cruises along. But it's like he's playing in a puddle and not actually water underneath of him. So it doesn't look like he's surfing on water. It looks like he's, like, surfing on a tiny little puddle. Like, it's ridiculous.
Those cheap Atlanta swimming pools, they just don't work, do they?
That's right. That's right.
Hey man, I played 3 total games of Poseidon since like November, and I still bought it, so I don't care what it looks like.
I do. Come on, quality. Come on, high res quality.
I'm just here to support, dude. I'm here for that esports, dude. You know what I want? I want this mellow. Okay, let's be real. I'll never take the mellow jersey down, but I would like the option of putting a Denial, Dignitas, Cognitive, Cloud9, TSM. I need to mention everybody so I don't get blasted. Jersey on my wall. I want esports to be the real thing, Octane. So, dude, I bought 2 copies, man.
Hey, simmer down over there, okay? Simmer down. I'm getting a little excited.
He loves it. He loves it.
What else you got, Risty? What else you got?
We did see the addition of Golden Chuck skin, which is pretty much standard. They're throwing them out all over the place now. The Digimir skin did get a rework, obviously. I just saw the explosion today. I didn't actually see the ultimate effect for a while.
Awesome.
It looks so good. The big electronic explosion bubble looks good. The wall, really cool. When I first saw it, was amazing. I was like, oh, is that what it looks like? I was like, have I just missed it all this time? And but I didn't realize it changed for a while. But yeah.
Well, it was funny. I think it was you or someone else I was playing with, Risty, and I was playing as Digimir and set it off, and you were like, whoa. Because you weren't sure what it was that just like flew past you. Oh, hold up! And I think it was you, or it was either you or Smitten. I can't remember. I played with both of you over the past few weeks.
I can't remember. I don't know.
And it was just really entertaining. But I'm really happy to see High Res going back, looking at some of their skins that are really really cool. But then having that theme that goes with that skin be reflected onto the abilities. I think they're doing a really good job, and I think we'll see even more of it after the game launches as the God release slows down. Hi-Rez didn't say they're going to stop releasing gods or they're going to be like one every few months. They just said they're not going to be releasing gods like once a month. Is just something to keep in mind. So.
Yeah, I think it's because we kept bashing them in every Smite update when they released new skins, and we're like, why is Ra, Blue Ra, Yellow Beam?
Yes.
We were just like, why? Yep. So they fixed that one.
Yep.
Now they've updated the VGS system, so it's even more cluttered. And
oh my gosh!
I can't even remember the ones we've got. Let alone new ones.
Please.
The best one is playing as Ymir and the one that's like, I'm stacking. I'm building stacks. I do it all the time as Ymir. I wrote around
Oh man, speaking to stacking, I just have to talk about this ridiculous troll games. That man was trying to get #1 ranked possible, and he's playing a hunter. His support is a Ymir, and he says, and he's just being troll. He's walling him in the jungle, and Zap's like, not raging, but just like, oh my god, this is disgusting. Why is this guy allowed to play in my game? And all of a sudden he hits, I'm building stacks, and Zapman's like, what? And he's building like Doom Orbit, Gauntlet Thieves, just straight troll. And Zapman's just like, he's like, I'm gonna mute myself and turn off my camera. I'll see you guys after this game, because like, like it was just so ridiculous. Just a small, completely unrelated anecdote, but I swear, 9 times out of 10 when I'm trolled, it's a Ymir, and it's so obnoxious because it's just like this, like, Ymir is here to ruin your game. How's it go? Like, they put the wall up. It's so...
The worst is when I get an Anhur throws a pillar in front of me, and I'm playing Ymir, and he's trying to troll me. So I'm, like, running in one direction, boom! Like, what is this?
The pillar's so much easier to kind of block people in with. You got the wall, but you got to get the right angle. But the pillar's like, bang! For God's sake.
Dude, I had a game the other day where we were playing against another team, and they had a Ymir, and the Ymir threw up a wall. And just to troll that Ymir, I threw up a wall behind him, and I got through it. So he was stuck between 2 walls, just like standing there, like nothing you could do. And I just started, I was VEL, just to laugh at him. It was perfect. All right, go ahead, keep going.
We keep going. It's like, come on, just bang. I got to bang these out because we can't help it. They've added some new like distance lines for like the melee range and the ranged range, pretty much. Okay, so the arrow range. It's basically like the new line ruler sort of thing out there. It's kind of an interesting one to see. If you're not trolling, you're doing it wrong. And that's a pretty good comment as well.
That's a good one.
That's so like a new... You gotta play Athena and just charge up the charge.
Yes.
I had an Athena doing that today. It was like, will you please stop? Yes. Oh, God. It was like when they used to get the clap with Mercury. Clap, 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 clap.
That's funny. That could go in so many wrong directions right there. That's okay.
I know. They added a new like reticle system where they had like an X. Literally, it give you a cross there in the middle of your screen. It was like, okay, where's the gun? What's going on? I feel like I need a bazooka if I've got that going on, especially like an O reticule as well. So I got rid of that straight away. I don't know what you guys actually did.
Dude, I put that on and all I've played is Hunters. It makes me feel like I'm playing like, yeah, exactly.
Like
I'm just playing like a third-person shooter. I'm just like, pew, 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 pew. Especially when you're Apollo and you're just like, boom, 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 boom. I feel like I'm in like bullet time, you know, max pay. It's so cool, dude. I love Smite, man.
You're in the Matrix, man. Slow-mo.
Yeah, that's right.
For real.
Go for it. Yeah. Assault. They changed Arena Escort. They took out the Manticore. Why?
They did.
Why?
They did.
They
said it was
put a
going to
big
be for a
wooden
short
box.
time, though. They said it was going to be for a short time.
Leave it there, man. There was no reason to take it out. They've added now a new boring payload. So I was
What do you
like,
think? I think the payload's kind of cool, though, but the payload has nowhere to go.
But I kind of like the Manticore. They need to do something with the Manticore. Bring him back as something. I don't know. Or at least put him back in like practice mode, like practice jungle. Take out the Rabot and put that Manticore there. I'd be happy.
What is Arena?
What is Arena? I'm gonna.
Is it esports?
What is Arena?
I'm gonna
It is.
esports?
It smash as many buttons as you can and people die. That's pretty much it.
They already took domination out. Just a couple more casual modes to go.
Man, I got my first ever pentakills the other day in Arena. I got 2, and I sat there and went, they're pentakills. But I did get them for Arena, so I felt a little cheap. Man, I was like, oh, this just isn't right. But I'll take it. It's on that stat screen. So they changed that. The new escort payload is now a mechanical bit, which you can kind of slow down if you get in front of. Obviously, if the enemy team's near it, they can push it forward. It's like a general payload old system. If they're close to it, they push it forward. If you're there, you kind of stop it moving. So they've changed all that around a little bit.
That's cool. There was like a WoW thing with that happened, and there was.
They did that in a battleground map, yeah.
Yeah.
When I thought of payload, though, I thought of like Team Fortress 2 right away, and I was waiting for like a little bomb payload to come along. I was all excited for it. It was definitely not a Team Fortress 2 payload.
I bought that game a long time ago, Team Fortress 2, and now I heard you don't even have to buy it. So
no, it's all free.
It reminds me a little bit. It's not a bad game actually. It reminds me a little bit of a Global Agenda payload as well. That works at the same thing. If you can push it forward. That's
cool.
I played
Hey,
Go.
hey, F dot. You know, Team
Virus
Fortress 2 is
start, man.
not competitive, bro. You weren't playing competitive. You know, what's the deal? What's the deal?
Actually, there is MLG 2v2 and 3v3 Team Fortress Classic. Team Fortress 2. They tend to use. They don't use too many snipers, and I'm actually being serious. There is competitive. Just putting that out there, champ.
I've
You tried
seen
to
it.
call
I've
me
seen
that.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to throw me under the bus and just run me over. Again.
Well, we've got to do it sometimes, haven't we? Really. The Fire Giant and Gold Fury now revealed by wards. So you now see this weird silhouette with the Fire Giant on it, which, to be honest, half the time it's like a waste of time because by the time they're actually attacking it, they've cleared your ward out, so you're not going to see it anyway. Yeah. What they do need to fix is the size of the health bar or the visibility of the health bar. I'd like to know how much health is on it. It's very restrictive.
Yeah, it's really so. You and I saw that. We were looking at that, and it was at like the very bottom, and it looked like just mixed in with the minions. It really needs to be like a big ass bar at the top.
Yeah.
I think it would be more appropriate.
Like the escort kind of bar, that big ass thing. That'd be a bit nicer.
Yeah.
And it needs to update quicker.
I think that's a huge problem. I watch a lot of support players stream ranked, and it really infuriates most of them, and it infuriates me because you watch these supports like totally slink, and they're like, all right, I'm good. And what happens is when the extremely microscopic small health bar comes on screen, it's not even the fact that it's tiny as hell, it's the fact that it builds up from 0 up to wherever it's at.
Yeah.
So when you engage, it might look like that's the right time to engage, when in all actuality, it's at 70%. You're like, what? I'm terrible. And then you just die because you're in the middle of 5.
And then everyone else hits back at you and goes, what are you doing?
What are you doing, you big dummy? Except this is ranked, so they don't say big dummy. But you know what
they
I'm
say
saying?
a lot worse than that,
Yeah,
I can
but
assure
like,
you. Jeez.
that if there is something... If there is something that needs to be fixed, absolutely immediately, if I had to pick one damn thing, please fix that, because that impacts games so much. That actually a single fire giant can turn the tide of an entire game. A single fire giant steal, shout out to Jeff Hindla, can impact the entire game. And when you are unsure of what that health bar says, you can see how mad I'm getting about this. I've watched teams lose entire games because of that question mark bug. Like, is it a bug? Just the way it works is garbage, and that needs to be fixed. I'm sorry.
It's really bad when like the sport player's playing it really safe, and you're sitting there from like a carry role, looking at the health bar, going, "Please hug, hug, come on, hug, just hug, please." It's 20%, 15, hug it. And it just,
hey, F. Tell me how you really feel, bro. Tell me. How
man, it's just because I feel like this game is so well balanced. Like the gods, we can complain about, like, you hear a lot of the newer players complain about X God or Y God or Z God, or even some of the more competitive players. But like at the end of the day, the majority of the gods are balanced. We have 4 bans. It could be 3, but I think 4 is nice. A lot of the stuff is balanced. Like, you know, the way teams work, it's balanced. But that's one of those things. It's gamey. It doesn't work. Please fix it, please. Please.
All right, enough of our complaint fest. Let's move on to the general section and what we got for the UI. I know we got the UI. A lot of changes with UI within the past week.
I have no idea. No. I thought that was pretty much a lot of the stuff. They did some. They changed what the wards look like. I quite like these. It looks like a weird kind of like holocron and like ball thing. That looks kind of cool. They've just changed that around.
I love that.
It does look good. It was a nice little touch, wasn't it?
Yeah. It looks cleaner. It's caught up to date with the latest art. I like it. I know a lot of people complained about like the chat window within the UI, and they kind of changed it back. But I know all of us here can say we don't like the contrast of the current text and the color of the chat right now versus the background. It doesn't stand out at all. I never even could see when someone sends me a private message. I don't even know.
Did you notice in Assault with the snow at the side? It's white text on white background. I'm like, Assault. I have to move to read.
This is Art School 101 here, folks. Come on now.
What's Assault?
What's Assault? I'm
so,
gonna smack you.
Yeah. It's anything with Conquest is just like, go away. Stay away from me. Yeah.
There was an Assault tournament, and actually I have to mention this. Okay. So there's the weekly 3v3 tournament put on by one member of the community. There's a 2v2 Assault tournament put on some member of the community. Yeah. And there's the obvious, the Smite weekly tournaments and stuff. Barracuda won the 2v2 Assault, the 3v3, and the conquest.
Yo, Barracuda needs a life, bro. Barracuda needs a life.
Yo, it's insane how good that kid is. But
It
yeah,
is,
I mean,
it really is.
no, I mean, yeah, the changes to the chat was, you know, obviously abysmal, and you know, so I really liked the art direction that they moved into, but they obviously didn't get it right the first time, and they swapped things around, and they got it right. I think they got it right the second time. I think the chat could be. Well, I wanted some customization options for my chat. You know, frankly, I would like it in the top left, but that's just me. You know,
they need a free-floating UI is what they need, where you can move it wherever you want.
I think
we were spoiled with WoW. That's what it is. We
Exactly.
were spoiled.
I
We
was
could
just
move
gonna say
that. Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Like, I think that's cool, but you know, I don't necessarily think that would work out.
Yeah.
I think that being able to reposition everything to your whim might be a little, you know, whatever. But as far as I just want to be able to customize my chat, frankly, you know, that'd be pretty sweet.
So, Risty,
You can
what
go
else we
F
got?
dot setup. Go.
That's right. What else? What else we got?
So
here
in
that's,
Spectator, they
take
fixed
look
a little bit of the slow mos. It's now like alt specific instead of just slow moing straight at the start of a lot of elements. So they've cleaned that up a little bit more,
Yep.
and that's pretty much about it on that part. Going into the god balancing, there was so many. I have to say this a little bit more as well. There were so many gods that they've set the post hit delay to 0.1. There's a few at 0.3, but they've got it down quite a bit now to make everything feel. Yeah, I'm getting to that. I am definitely getting to that. So they reduced that. They reduced Thanatos there, and he was pretty much insta-gibbing people. So they increased the delay. I'm sitting there going, right, if he's insta-gibbing people when you take away the delay, surely something's wrong with Thanatos in the first place. Because it's only adding like a half a second or a little bit more. Surely that's doing a little bit too much damage, or something's doing too much damage. I know Thanatos, they say like balanced and all that stuff, but my God, sometimes it gets a bit crazy. So that was just kind of my query about it. That was all.
Yeah. Yeah, the Thanatos is ridiculous right now. Ridiculous. That's all I got.
I'm a Thanatos player. I like that.
I like that.
What I really liked was Hi-Rez tweeted out. You know, we will be releasing a patch to address certain things. One was like UI elements, including chat. Another thing was like a certain bug regarding Thor. Another thing was ward vision and map placement will be corrected. And then the fourth point was Thanatos.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was just Thanatos.
Well, you just summed up the patch right there. Awesome. Good to go.
Yeah, pretty much. We broke Thanatos. That was pretty much it.
They really did. Like I oh my goodness. I played him I played him 2 games and I had over 20 kills in both games. And I'm not horrible, but I'm not 25 kills consistently good. So
a lot of people are going like he's very easily shut down, but it doesn't take too much for a Thanatos to kill someone. That death scythe, bang, into your soul reap, and you're just like, well, you've lost most of your health. You're either going to run away or wait for this cooldown to come up, and I'm going to finish you off. So it feels like Merc, how he used to be, like early on. Now it's kind of, So I don't know what they're going to do with him. I would hope for a slight nerf for the 1, but a lot of people kind of like him where he is, but that's probably because half of them people actually play him. So I ban the crap out of him every time I get the chance in ranked. Every time I will ban him.
Yeah, I mean, Thanatos is one of those gods that's high risk, high reward, because all of his abilities do use HP. And should you miss too much, you're losing your HP for absolutely no reason. And, you know, that one, the death size, the throwing star or whatever it is like one of the most difficult abilities to hit in the game. I hit
very
most of
narrow,
but it's very tough to hit. You know, it's hard to land. It requires the other person not juke as well as you be accurate. So I mean, I don't think that it needed a buff the way they buffed it. Like release Thanatos was fine, I think. And then after that, nobody played him, so they buffed him a little bit. And then they buffed him again where his one just healed for like 8 million instead of 700 million. And I'm just sitting here as a Thanatos player, like, keep buffing him, frankly. But I think he's in a decent spot. I think the healing could be reverted off of the death scythe. But as far as that's concerned, I think he's in a good spot. He's very, with his ultimate down, he's very susceptible to dying and stuff. So, I don't know. Could he be nerfed? Sure. Is he overpowered? No.
No. It's all right. A lot of people don't know how to deal with him. Like, just don't go near him. That's pretty much what it is. Or the mids get caught out quite a lot because of the silence I've seen so many mids are out, and all of a sudden he comes in behind. It's like silence. We can't jump, we can't dash, we can't get out of anything. You're gonna die. That's pretty much how that one works out. I'm sure you've done that so many times to a mid. The poor guy's there, and you're like, dinner.
No, the trick is to rush fist. You land on their face, throw the one, fist them, throw the scythe. You get the one up again from beadsing, and you kill them. It's the most dirty thing.
That combo, insta gib.
No, they just sit there and they're like, can I press buttons, please?
That's right. I'm stun locked. Can't do anything.
Okay, let's get back more into the god balancing. So Arachne saw a nerf to Poison Claws, so that's our passive, so that's the Poison Dot. Reduced the scaling from 20% physical power per tick down to 16%. I don't know how that really affects her like level 1 fight and all that stuff, because you don't generally have too much physical power at the start. I reckon it probably drops it a couple of ticks down, like damage, but other than that, not too much.
Yeah.
They did also as well nerf the Jane. She just got nerfed across the board kind of a little bit. They nerfed Drain Life from a standard 3 seconds across the board to 2 seconds up to 3 seconds. Sure. And the scaling it's a bit different, I think. No, it's not that.
Can I talk about Arachne real quick?
Nope, not allowed. Not allowed.
Oh, all right, see you later. No, they didn't nerf her. They evened out her scaling. So I think when Hi-Rez introduced, and this is pure speculation, I did not work for Hi-Rez or anything like that. When they introduced Arachne, I felt like they wanted her to be what she was. Extremely powerful early game and fall off late game. So the trick is if you play Arachne, you make people quit.
You need to win,
you know?
Yeah.
Like, exactly. You just make people quit before 15 minutes. That's the whole gimmick. And that's not fun for the majority of people, myself included. In fact, I have an entire blurb on my personal page about how much I despise Arachne. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh, man.
So,
I remember before she got, like, the egg nerf, I had to pick her up in ranked because it was either pick her up or play against her. That was it.
Exactly.
That was all you had to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was so obnoxious. But what we see them doing here, it's not necessarily nerf. So the Poison Claws don't do as much damage off the bat, but they do more damage with gear. The Drain Life doesn't do as much damage or last as long off the bat, but it does more as you level it up. The eggs don't do as much off the bat, and you're starting to see a trend here. So what they did was they took Arachne's kit and they're like, all right, nobody likes being beaten 9 minutes because the Arachne went ham. We get that. So we're just going to make her go, instead of going, and this is probably going to be backwards, but instead of starting here and sort of falling off, they're just going to even her out a little bit, which, you know, in my opinion is cool and is a good idea. So yeah, I look at it as much less of a nerf and more of just a rebalancing of the idea of what her role actually is. I imagine some sort of fix or change to her kit possibly, but at the end of the day, I think that she still can impact the late game with that pull. You know, when you have the two teams just like jockeying for position in the mid, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you?
Yeah, you're
like,
dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know, I think
it's better than Sobek.
Yeah, I think fixing her situation is a really cool thing for Smite for sure.
I saw a trial once where they had her, Sobek, and Herc. So it was the pull, Sobek grabbed him, and then Herc pushed him back. I was like, wow.
That's ridiculous. Can you imagine that player? They're like facepalm the whole time. Like, this sucks. I can't do anything.
It's like, I should have bought bead.
His whole team's yelling at him. Full of beads.
Yeah. So, Cupid saw a slight little nerf, like 1% was reduced from his stacks that he builds, obviously, when he does the Love Struck on his passive. So that's a little bit. And Heart Bomb reduced 10% of his scaling from physical power there. So instead of 100%, it's now 90. Yeah. Geb, keep seeing all these nerfs kind of coming across the board now. They keep nerfing Geb because obviously they released him a little too strong. Okay. Yeah. The health gain per level's now gone down from 104 to 90. It seems I've not really seen a Geb yet because I play ranked all the time and he's still not allowed in there, so I haven't really contended it. He was in the tournaments though and kind of demolished a few times I saw, especially with the ultimate. The ultimate's the bigger key. And they reduced the duration of the stone shield, so that kind of evens it out a little bit. Because to be honest, that stone shield, if that goes up on somebody, you're like, well, I'm not killing him.
Yeah.
No, I love the tower dive potential with the shield. Oh, I love it. Like tower diving is amazing. And if you get good coordination between your carry and your support or whatever, oh, it's so good. Please continue.
Yeah, that was the change that I was looking for. The duration on the Geb,
Yep.
the shield, because at the moment there really is no way to deal with it, and I think the way to deal with it is to like CC whoever you're trying to kill and just wait it out. So I think it fits much better at like a 4-second. Even that's really long. That's where I would like to see that. The health change was pretty sweet, but I think the core of the problem or the core of the situation was really the length of time that shield was lasting. So I liked that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guan Yu's Talu Assault, the protections buff and debuff has been nerfed quite a bit, actually. It was like halved almost at the start. It's gone from 6 at the start to 3 and 10 at level 5 to 7. So that really first like early push straight out the bat, they've nerfed that quite a bit. I think that's because we're seeing more Guan Yu's picked up in the duo lane, and to be honest, if he gets that Talu Assault off on you, the AD carry is going to blow you up. Oh, that was pretty much all that was happening there. Oh. It was like, back off. It's fun times, especially when Guan Yu was on your side. Okay, so Hebo got a little nerf as well. Steady Flow reduced the magical power buff stack, so that's his passive there, from 10% down to 7. Thank God for that. Was that? Yeah, about time.
Yeah, it's about a lot. Time. That dude, yeah, that dude. If you ever played against a Doom Orb Hebo, like, so I do dirty things. When I
tell me more. Tell me more, man. Tell me more.
I like going Doom Orb, Girdle of Power, Hebo.
Okay.
And just making people question why they play the game. Because with a Doom Orb, with like a fully stacked Doom Orb and a Girdle of Power, I mean, you don't even need those items. They just add insult to injury. But, you lay down the yellow carpet, you drop the 3, which is the water spout, so they can't escape the 1, and then you, whoa, all over their face, and they're just dead. And you're like, I pushed 3 buttons. I pushed 3 buttons.
What are you, the new Fenrir? What are you, the new Fenrir? Come on now.
It was just silly. So that's the type of change I want to see. Them change it just a little bit. Like the buff went, the passive went from 10 to 7. The scaling went from 90 to 80 because his entire gimmick is burst damage, and that's what he is. And I respect that there are burst damage creatures in the game, but at the end of the day, how much burst is too much? So
yeah, if you can kill someone in 3 hits, it's like, well, then again, the AD carries do it, but that's at the end of the game, but he does it quite early on. Yeah, exactly. Does it very early on. They also made it easier now to hit Earthbreaker. They thought clearly people can't hit this thing enough, so let's make it easier for people, dumb it down a little bit, and increase the width from 5 feet to 7 feet, and increase the area of the flip back by another 2 feet. So now the thing is almost impossible to miss. So Herc is just like, right.
It happens.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah. Have you been trying to?
So I'm gonna jump in and say I love the next one, by the way.
Oh, the Odin Ring of Spears.
Yeah, I love my man Odin coming back.
To be honest, he's needed this for a long time, because every time you used to get caught in the Ring of Spears, you used to just kite him round because he couldn't catch you. Either that or you had to get like Frostbound Hammer to slow everybody else down. It was like, I got to do something, otherwise my ring is useless to me. So now they increase the speed of him, and it actually helps that quite a lot. There's a lot more Odins being picked up now, and then it's like, I'll get Blink. So I've been picking up Blink quite a few times now just to deal with it.
Yeah. What do you think, F-Dot? You like that? You like that change?
I like that change because I remember so many times I would never play Odin. Odin's one of the, well, not that I would never play Odin, but I haven't. Yeah. He's one of the few gods I don't have mastered. And I just remember many times of like Odin getting me in his ring. I play predominantly junglers, so like I'm usually fast. And I just run around the circle and I feel like I'm being chased by Chris Farley. Like, fat man in a skinny jacket, fat man in a little jacket. And I'm like, and he's like, so it was definitely something that needed to happen for him to actually be worth anything. Yes. So that's a cool change. I like that. I like how that's all they really changed. They're like, all right, the issue is that he puts a ring and he can't catch up. Now he can put the ring and catch up. So
that was his only problem, really. He just couldn't get to. It just literally was. It's like a ball trying to get the Matador. I just can't get him, man. He just keeps waving that red flag in front of me, and I just can't get him. Yeah. So, and the final one was Thanatos Death Scythe. They reduced the width for the ground targeted, so it actually showed you what the projectile was. Because a lot of the times you saw it, it was quite fat, and you went, right, that's going to hit. Why didn't it hit?
I used instant cast.
Yeah, so it now represents it a little bit more, and you can kind of understand when it misses a lot now. Execute as well. This was a funny one. I never actually saw this, but I could imagine that being quite funny when you execute someone. Fixed an issue where gods could sometimes survive an instant kill with enough damage reduction percentage. So that would have been quite. Could you imagine the troll happening around? Because I would, if I survived an execute, I would jump away laughing. I would just do it just for the crack.
Yeah, it was a very gimmicky situation. Basically, the execute doesn't necessarily, as far as like game is concerned, it doesn't execute. It deals 9,999 damage, and so Bacchus with a full stacked passive, with the Bulwark of Hope passive up, with all true damage reduction rather than true damage or passive stuff. You had to be really gimmicky, and it was like a check out my YouTube video of me exploiting the game, and like it wasn't something that you would come up normally, organically, so to speak. But you know, they fixed it, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I mean, it's good they identified it.
Yeah.
So guys, that kind of rounds out today's show. Pretty normal length, about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes with F. on. You know, it could have went 3 hours because the guy never steps up. But you know. Anyways, guys, if you guys
fun,
I know, right? If you guys are checking this out for the first time, this is the first time it's actually been on Smite Game. If you guys like it, you know, make sure you guys post in chat. Let us know. You know, it's a show that if you guys caught it a little late, it's a show that goes over community news, a little esports discussion, just a little bit, and then goes over last week's patch, just to kind of recap on it, some of the things that we saw that we liked and didn't like, and things that were big things to check out and stuff like that. Once again, if you guys would like to check out the audio version, I'll link it in chat. The audio version is available on iTunes in any country. We definitely check out, all of the reviews. So if you guys liked the show, post a review on iTunes. We appreciate it. It is available in the Android store as well. Let me go ahead and bring that up for you guys too. If you guys just want to go ahead and check out the show right on, check it out. I will go ahead and post it. Let me find it real quick here in the meantime. There it is. Perfect. I got so many links for this show. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? So anyways, back to what I was saying. I swear I can talk here. Anyway, special thanks to the people that did give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes store. It helps us out a ton, moves us up in the ranking. Really, really appreciate it. Gets us more viewership, more audience, so we definitely like that. As always, the Smite Update is a production of OctaneProGaming.com. Please visit Octane Pro Gaming for more great content, along with another podcast that's actually coming up here in about 45 minutes. I'm going to be doing another show, and this week's guest on Smite Talk is Mesmerized. So make sure that you guys do go ahead and stick around for that. Should be a really good show. As F. said, the guy has an awesome voice. Once again, guys, this is the first night we've done this show on Smite Game. If you guys really, really liked it, I am going to be talking with those guys to see if we could do it on here every week. But normally the show is on my own stream. It airs every Sunday, at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And it's twitch.tv/OctanePro, SCII, and I'll go ahead and put that link in chat. This is where the show usually resides. So make sure that you guys, check it out. Go ahead there, follow there. It'll notify you when the show is live every week. If we could get this on Smite Game every week, it would be awesome. I wouldn't mind doing it on Smite Game at all. I think it deserves more attention. We're on episode 38, and we've been doing the show well over a year, so I want to make sure it gets the attention. So before we go ahead and head out, F. where can people check you out? Where can people see your content, your social media, all that fun stuff?
Of course. So my normal thing, so to speak, is that weekday morning show. We call it First Period with F. We do it every weekday morning on twitch.tv/tiermonster, actually, from 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time every morning. Eastern Standard being the best standard. But I wake up, I drink my coffee, I chill out in the casual queue, I hang out with people so the morning matchmaking is interesting. So we just have fun with it. It's really a focus less on the gameplay and more focus on just hanging out, discussions. We talk music, sports, esports, whatever the hell we want. It's more just a hangout session. So come join me and drink your coffee with me. Wake up, hang out before you go to work. 7 to 10 every weekday morning. Twitch.tv/tiermonster. You can also find me weekday nights on my own thing. More of the same. Just hanging out. I like to talk. So that's what I do. I discuss with you guys. If you ever go into a chat and you feel like you're not getting enough attention, come see me. I'll talk your face off. That's twitch.tv/fswag for now. And you can also find me on Twitter. I tweet a lot as well. Twitter.com/f.swag. I'll do a little of the typing so y'all can just click on it. But so those are the 3 slots. Tier Monster, twitch.tv/tiermonster. Myself, twitch.tv/fswag. And my Twitter, twitter.com/f.swag. There's other stuff, but they don't matter. So come find me, follow me everywhere. Just don't follow me home. Thank you very much.
Make sure you put that.
They'll be outside with the binoculars, looking at you through the windows. Going,
that's right. Well, peep it Tom. Peep it Tom. So make sure you post that in chat, F. so people can definitely check you out. Make sure you guys go follow him. Great member of the community. And then finally, I'll throw it over to this little British guy. You know, we do actually like those people across the pond in Europe. We'll throw it over to Risty. First off, Risty, thanks for staying up with us. What time is it there right now?
It's only literally 11:45, so it's not that bad. When we first started doing the show, guys, I was up at 1:30 in the morning to start the show. We didn't used to finish till 4.
To start the show.
Yeah, and then I used to have to go to work the next day. I was like, oh, God. The show would wreck me for 2 days, and I couldn't do anything, so it's just, like, terrible. But everyone can find me. I'm starting to putting back the YouTube content up again. I haven't posted anything for a little while, but it's youtube.com/RistyUK. You can also find me at Twitter, at RistyUK. That's a pretty easy one there. And the same channel for the Twitch as well. I stream most days, and I'll probably stream in a little bit on my channel, twitch.tv/RistyUK as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, once again, I'll go ahead and post the last link. I'm gonna copy F. here because I can, and I'm gonna go ahead and post in chat there with the link there. Risty, make sure you post in chat as well if I need to give you the ability to do that. Not a problem at all. But anyways, guys, this was another episode of the Smite Update. Appreciate you guys coming out. Hopefully, we'll see you here next week. If not, it'll be on my own channel on Octane Pro SCII, 5 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned, guys. We are gonna have Mesmerize up next. With the Smite Talk starting in about 10 minutes. I'm going to take the stream offline. I got to make some overlay adjustments and all that fun stuff. And we'll see you guys back here in about 10 minutes for Smite Talk. Stay tuned, guys. Thank you very much.